Hello everyone. In this exclusive report and analysis for Patreon and Newsbud community, both communities will be getting this episode. I'm going to talk about a new development. The cronies and operatives of CFR, Council on Foreign Relations, has published a pretty indicative analysis article on the current state of the United States, mainly on Trump. And within this article, within this analysis, they are basically declaring that the US institutions from all branches are all in the brink of collapse, that the presidency has pretty much collapsed, and they are bringing up, massaging the minds and the hearts of their listeners, their viewers, with the coup that they have been planning. They are talking about military being one option to remove a dictatorial president. And they go further throughout this latest analysis. It just came out today, and they talk about other countries as well, but they are mainly focusing on Turkey. Those of you who have not watched my latest two video reports analysis on Turkey and the forecasting I provided in those video reports, take the time. It's open to all, and it's all listed under my YouTube channel, under this channel, and you can watch, and you'll see that my forecasts, my predictions are one by one coming true, including a major march, protest scheduled for tomorrow. And this is going to be when things are going to start. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the coup. I'm going to talk about CFR openly advocating, massaging the people for coup as an option to forcibly remove a dictatorial president, and much, much more. As I had indicated in my previous video, this and my next video analysis will be for my Patreon community members, my Newsbud community members who have been supporting and enabling the production of all these video analysis I have been putting out back to back, non-stop for the past 2-3 weeks. I thank them all. Those of you who support this work, those of you who are interested in these analyses that you will not find elsewhere, anywhere, whether it's the mainstream media outlets or the so-called pseudo-alternatives or just the gossip blogs, you can join us. It doesn't take much. I have provided the link to my Newsbud community, also to Patreon. And when you go to Patreon, you see that with whatever you can afford, whatever you're able to afford, whether it's $5, $1, $10, or $100, you can join this community and have access to all my analysis, all my reports, all my live streaming events that I hold for my Patreon community and for my Newsbud community members, and the fact that we are the common sense people for resisting this coup, for defeating this coup. We are determined, and we are not bogged down with all sorts of distraction and partisan factors out there, which unfortunately I see many sites that claim to be activism sites are engaged in. Please do your share, visit my Patreon. It takes only 10 seconds, and join this community. I will welcome you, and I hope you will enjoy this video analysis on the coup and on predictions on Turkey coming true, and the new chapter starting with these marches and protests opening there. As they are indicating, they are ready for what I just predicted in my previous video reports, a regime change in Turkey. This is Sibel Edmonds reporting from Southwest Florida, and those of you with Newsbud community And Patreon community, stay, don't go anywhere. We have a lot to discuss. I have several articles that are being, they are buried. And let's talk about that. I'll provide you with the links as well. And let's continue. Okay, I'm going to start with the Council on Foreign Relations latest via Foreign Policy magazine, this article that was published for this week's issue for Foreign Affairs. And we will go through some of these paragraphs here. It's a lengthy article and I'm not going to bore you with it, but I'm going to provide you with the link so you can go and read it. The title reads, America's Democratic Unraveling. That sounds ominous, doesn't it? Countries fail the same way businesses do, gradually and then suddenly, okay? So the article begins with, I'm going to provide you with the summary here, by going over all these, what they call indicators that in the United States, and they are starting with the US first, and mainly, it's all, not mainly, all on President Trump, we have been experiencing a complete institutional collapse. And they are throwing everything but the kitchen sink in it, okay? They talk about Trump withholding this grant to Ukraine, which is supposed to be an indicator of our foreign policy collapsing, okay? Remember, who were the people behind the coup in Ukraine, right? These are the same people, CFR, Council on Foreign Relations, Soros. These New World Order deep state players were the coup makers and everything that went on in and with Ukraine, okay? So with foreign policy institutions, with Trump, they are saying he has basically, by withholding this grant from Ukraine, has totally undermined and wrecked. Trump has wrecked our foreign policy. I mean, it's in a way really comical. Then they go and talk about Russiagate. We know that Russiagate didn't get anywhere, not because somebody went and intervened and stopped it. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of $1 million was spent in this BS witch hunt. Americans' tax money, okay, tax dollars, and it was about nothing. They wanted to create something about nothing, and even with that, it basically fell on its face. So they throw that, Russiagate, as what? Indicator that the U.S. investigative, executive branch, FBI even, it has collapsed because President Trump has wrecked it. It has totally undermined it, and that institution no longer even exists because Trump has been suffocating these foreign policy institutions and the judiciary branch. Now, it's more. Of course, they come up with COVID. What has President Trump done, according to them? He is basically murdering all these people, and his horrible policies have stopped us countering this deadly threat, okay? And of course, the economic bankruptcy, the economic hardship that we are experiencing, they are taking that and they're making that not about this insane COVID measures that they are bringing. It's their made up crap. They are saying even that is Trump's fault, that currently we are experiencing these economic hardship, not the COVID that they have made up and the insane measures that they have been shoving down our throat, but it is because of President Trump. So the economic, our institutions involving in our economy, finances, that is collapsed. That has collapsed. And the reason for it, according to them, is this dictator named Donald Trump. That's what they are saying. And from there, they are moving to the riots. And they are talking about how President Trump has institutionalized racism. So the incident that took place with Floyd there in Minneapolis, that is as a result of Trump in this last 3.5 years somehow taking whatever racism existed in this country and institutionalizing it, okay? According to them, the police force, all these practices, they are not under the states. Somehow, they are under the White House. So either they don't understand the U.S. government makeup, or they really believe that their readers are absolutely idiotic morons, okay? That's what they must be assuming to write it and throw it and say, what happened there, the shooting was as a result of President Trump racking and institutionalizing racism. That's why it happened. And of course, the riots happening, and they are cheering, they are one of the cheerleaders for the thievery, thuggery, murdering that I have been talking about, screaming about. That is, of course, President Trump's fault as well. From that point, they are continuing and they're saying, okay, basically the majority of the U.S. institutions, okay, anything democratic have collapsed. But they are saying that there are some that are not completely dead. They are still breathing, okay, under President Trump's dictatorship. And there is hope via these leftover or the ones that are almost crippling their institutions. Trump can be defeated and taken out of the office via the various ways. So with that, of course, they are pointing at Bolton-related stuff. They're saying that the courts, the federal judges, okay, there are some good ones that are not dead yet because Trump hasn't stabbed them. He hasn't killed these judges. And they have ways to actually impeach him and bring the impeachment back and put it on the table via lots of different things, whether Trump's conflict of interest through his financial ties, they can impeach him or bring impeachment investigations through the judiciary by using that, or Trump refusing to publish his tax record, or the garbage that Bolton, the clown, put out there, Trump basically colluding with dictators such as Erdogan in Turkey and getting buddy-buddy with them and doing special favors, or impeachments because Trump has been firing and removing certain people from their positions. Then, listen to this. They come to a section, and okay, I'm not able to mark my sections here on this phone, but they are saying there are so many different ways at once, okay, these dying institutions should approach to impeach it even before the elections, okay? And the other thing they are talking about, here it is, they are saying that, look, there are factions of military who have turned against Trump because they have refused to be killed as democratic institutions, part of the U.S. institutions. And they keep naming Mattis there. And for these military, okay, members in the U.S., there is a chance that they would overtly go against them and have military intervention. What have I been forecasting? I'm the first person to bring up the word coup to what we have been witnessing with this COVID game, and Mattis and Bolton saying we are currently facing a coup. Nobody has claimed that. A lot of people, they are saying that is outrageous. We are the United States. We can't go through a coup. Nobody's going to have a coup. We are facing a coup. In fact, we are way past the stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. We are almost finished with the stage 4 of the coup. in all coups, you're looking at 5-6 stages. That leaves us between now and November 2 more stages. And if you read, okay, if you read this, you understand that what their plans are. Some of them, they are giving it away. In a way, they are trying to massage people's minds. So things won't look like as if they are coming out of nowhere. Okay, that's a tactic, but it's a double-edged sword, because by doing this, they are also giving us, we the people, we the 1/3, common sense America, a heads up, because they're gonna bring up these issues of new impeachment war fronts, multiple. Because if you look at some of the stuff on CNN and NBC, when the reporters, these are all set up, these are all staged, of course, they are asking and saying, well, for the impeachment based on what Bolton is exposing, are you going to do it after the elections? Or since these are such urgent matters, are you going to do it before now? And if you listen to these traders who are part of the coup makers team, you see the response is, of course we are not going to wait until the elections. So there is going to be a process coming based on all the crap coming from Mattis, from Bolton, multiple impeachment, not just Russiagate. We are going to have, as I had forecasted, Turkeygate, okay? Saying that Trump has financial interests in Turkey that Erdogan, the dictator in Turkey, is protecting. Trump has basically engaged in unconstitutional conduct by removing this particular prosecutor in this Halk Bank case involving Turkish bank in Iran sanction scandal. So they're going to bring all the stuff. So there's going to be the Turkeygate impeachment and investigation. All of these are going to start months before the elections in November. His tax records not being disclosed and all the other things. So let's attack him with various impeachment. So he's facing multiple impeachment inquiries, but they're also putting another caveat there, saying it also appears as the military factions have woken up and they are against Trump. They're making this like this is according to them. This is how they are painting, and they can and possibly may remove this dictator. You know, whenever you see mainstream media or entities like Council on Foreign Relations or the Heritage Foundation, when you see them start pairing up the word dictator with any president, you know a coup is coming and there is a regime change. It's the color revolution. Okay, Sisi, pair him up every time, all of a sudden, and then it becomes like a norm because people have gotten used to it. Erdogan used to be celebrated by the mainstream media in the US up until 2011, until he had a fallout with this Mullah Gulen, who is the CIA stooge, okay? And I'm not saying Erdogan is good in any way at all. How could anybody say that? But what I'm saying is the other side in Turkey is far worse, including CIA stooge Fethullah Gulen. So this man, Erdogan, Time magazine made this man the man of the year. Time magazines in 2008, in 2010, they said he was the best example of the democracy in the Middle East. This was their guy. Then you see suddenly, out of nowhere in 2011, they start saying Erdogan is becoming dictatorial. He's engaging in dictatorial practices. He's being a little bit too authoritarian. And a year later, you'll see everywhere Erdogan dictator, Erdogan dictator, Erdogan dictator, pairing it up. Dictator Erdogan, not the elected president, none of those stuff, okay? Look at with Assad. Assad went from being the president in Syria to a dictator. Gaddafi, same thing. Now, Gaddafi has been dictator according to them, which he was since forever, because Gaddafi has never been pocketed by the West. Now, was he a dictator, ruthless guy in Libya? Of course. Who's going to argue with that? Of course he was. But We only love our dictators. They love their dictators installed. They don't like other people's dictators or other parties or other fronts or other sides' dictators. Now, as you can see here, that's the stage the mainstream media is, pairing up constantly, Trump dictator. Trump is not a president. Well, once you're declared as a dictator and officially become that in every single mainstream media publication, of course the talks of coup is going to make sense, right? How else will you remove a dictator? They don't say elected president. They are not saying all the crap that he has been facing. And in response to their craps, he has to put these measures, okay? Now, whether you agree with it or you don't agree with it, it doesn't matter. No, they are saying he is a dictator in White House. And once it becomes normalized in naive, those Americans who only follow mainstream media, the idea of coup or the news of coup is not going to be treated with any kind of a shock. Well, of course, he was a dictator. You don't use election process. Dictators don't use election process. So we had to remove him via these military traitors, coup makers, via a coup, and get him out of the White House because, hey, we are the bastion of liberties and democracy, USA. So if we ever get a dictator, we have a military coup. Duh, that's how they're going to think, unfortunately. But we are awake. We are paying attention, right? We are watching their games. And when we do that, what should we be doing, right? We need to alert others. We need to raise awareness. We need to scream harder, okay? I don't know where some of you have been, but please scream harder. Rationally, I'm not saying raising your voice. I'm just saying circulate this information. Wake up other people. Help me wake other people up. Okay, now the next person here that they're giving all the green light for, basically indicator of a coup, imminent, and I told you about the big bloodshed riots coming to Turkey. That's coming into fruition because they are focusing on Erdogan, the dictator, and they're pairing up Erdogan, Trump together now. Erdogan and Trump, they're like the identical twins, according to them. With Erdogan, I'm going to put it up here during the edits parts. Hopefully I won't forget and include the link. The members of Bar Association in Turkey, the associations of all the lawyers in Turkey, and a lot of these kinds of organizations, NGOs, are also supported by Soros, even though Erdogan kicked Soros out during this attempted coup in 2016. Soros' larvas have been thriving well in Turkey. Trust me, they have been there. Again, I'm not saying I like President Erdogan. I support him in any way. None of those stuff. But what I'm telling you is these people, these attorneys, bar associates, these NGOs, they declared and announced that they want to have a march against the dictator Erdogan and his dictatorial practices. Has he been engaged in some of those? Yeah, he has. Nobody's going to deny that. You're not going to get any denial on that from me. However, they wanted to organize a protest, peaceful protest marching. There's about 1,100, 1,200 of them. So the Turkish government, knowing what's going on with the riots there and everything, and of course not being that dumb, at least I'm sure some of them have been watching my reports, video reports, because they know I predicted the coup for them in 2016. They've been saying, no, we're not going to issue the permit. We're not going to issue the permit. No, we're not going to allow you because this can be set up as a false flag event, which probably will. Watch it. It's coming up tomorrow. They've been saying no. Well, they gave up because, of course, all the international mainstream media, CNN, NBC, ProPublica, all these, they started writing and saying, he's such a dictator, he's not even allowing peaceful march protests by these attorneys, the judiciary branch in Turkey. He's proving to be a dictator, like a double-edged sword for the guy. Double-edged sword. He's like, I don't let them march, okay? This is what they're gonna do, okay? And they are set to bring this coup to Turkey. It's happening this summer. It's happening this summer. Please underline it several times. I don't let them do it. They're gonna do that. And if I let them do it, I know there's gonna be agent provocateurs among them, agent provocateurs galore. I can guarantee you. In Turkey, it's going to be much more barbaric than what we have seen with this BLM criminals supported by the same New World Order coup makers. It's going to get bloody. Oh, wow, it's going to get bloody. Whether it's with this march scheduled for tomorrow or the continuation of it the next week, the following week, all eyes on Turkey. Because what you're seeing, what they are doing there, parallels the types of things they are doing here in the United States. Okay, it's like almost mirror image. Pay attention, tomorrow is coming. I'm going to be following it. I'm going to be up following it because he granted the permit for them to have their peaceful protest march. So it's going to be heavily under police, and the Turkish military police is called jandarma. So it's going to be under that. What can happen? What can happen is somebody is going to cause something, okay? Provoke the police, right? Of course, when the police is provoked and under their own guidelines, they have to respond. And the moment the military police, jandarma, or police responds to that, you're gonna see suddenly everybody being armed. You know, you're gonna hear gunfires, you're gonna see gunshots, you're gonna see people lying in blood, and you are going to see, okay, you are going to see CNN showing nothing but this for 24 hours. How President Erdogan's terrorized and killed and gunned down these innocent, peaceful protesters, innocent, peaceful, just like BLM. That is what I believe will happen. The likelihood of it is very, very high. So this is what I'm warning, okay? Tomorrow there is this parade in Turkey. And this may be the trigger. This may be the false flag, okay? Somebody is gonna provoke. Some police member or gendarme member is going to fire a shot. And then suddenly the whole hell may break loose, televised by CNN as advocated, advertised, marketed as this was all started and done by the dictator president in Turkey, and he is gunning down peaceful protesters. And with that, we're gonna see the beginning of the bloodshed that I have been predicting, forecasting for the past several weeks via Newsbud, Patreon, and my YouTube channel. Okay, I don't want to make this too lengthy. I have so much more to say. I truly appreciate your support. I want to have a session to talk about some personal things, you know, not like private personal things, some stuff about me. In my last video, I talked about you get what you see, you get what you hear. But I have gotten some messages from a few people who are going into this irate shenanigans, saying why I'm not responding to all the messages they sent me, why I'm not giving it attention. Look, I have over 2,000 members, 1,700 of them paid members at Newsbud. So far, we have 500 plus people through Patreon. I have a Twitter account with, I don't know, 60,000, 50,000, and then my DM is open. On any given date, I'm bombarded by, I would say on average, 300-400 messages, emails through Newsbud, through Patreon, through Twitter, through my contacts and sources within my whistleblowers organizations, through my sources in Turkey. And so to come and throw this tantrum and then say, I'm gonna go and cancel and everything, I wanna talk a little bit about that because you're not gonna get that. And there is nowhere here in Patreon or news, but I say I am gonna basically neglect my family and my livelihood and everything and sit down and read 3 pages of notes and comments and then this, the worst part is this rude demand saying, why aren't you responding? I'm gonna withhold my $1. Well, actually my husband and I were laughing about it because I said to him, I said, look, you know, these donors for the candidates, political candidates, like they give $1 million or $10 million or $20 million, Biden or whoever, And then, so what? So they can come and collect, saying, look, I gave you this, and this is why I had told them I'm not running for office. They give that money, then they come and they say, now you're going to kiss my butt and you're going to do this and this and this. Because remember, I gave you this money. And, and with Newsbud and with Patreon, of course, with anything that I have done to date, I have always totally gone against having one sponsor who's giving me $50,000, never, ever, ever had such a thing, or this foundation or this NGOs, knowing what? Knowing that they want to buy my soul and my heart and my integrity, and the money is not going to come without strings. It's going to come with the strings attached. Therefore, I said, I'd rather work 100 times harder, okay, not make enough money to make this my career, because that's as a result of it, rather than do that, so that it would be hundreds and thousands of people throwing $5, $1, $10. They don't like something, they can cancel, they can go away, okay? So I have lost 10 or 50 or 100. I have another thousands who have proven to be with me throughout, especially at Newsbud. I have some members who've been with me for 12 years. Now, that's the beauty of what I do. Now, the funny thing, the reason I was laughing is, you get these entitled people who are throwing, and I really appreciate your $1, 50 cents, $10, $50. Anybody who is doing whatever they can, I appreciate it. But to have the audacity to say, I'm going to withhold my $1 if you don't say this in your next video. I'm going to take away my $1 if you don't respond to my emails. I don't want to show any third fingers. I want to be rude, but I would say, oh my God, I'm shocked if these people are out there roaming and they are not in some institutions and receiving some therapy. It's funny, it's ridiculous, and nobody anywhere has any claim over me. And it's one thing to get some really significant, crucial questions posed very sincerely and respectfully, saying, dear Ms. Edmonds, I know you're busy, but there is this very important thing. Here's why it's important. Can I get your response on that? And you know what? What I do here on my computers are still not here. I'm not going to have them for several weeks. I mark those under my email as unread. Keep it as new, because I know at some point I want to respond to those wonderfully written, thoughtful, thought-provoking, respectful messages asking, a question or bringing up a certain points that they want me to bring up. Of course, I will do it. But with that said, no one, and by that anywhere with any of my businesses, I also, not currently, up until November, I get consulting jobs, advisory positions. These are temporary contract stuff. Nobody in this world can have a claim on me and come with any kind of a demand and saying, yo, Sibel, that won't happen. I have never allowed it happen. Sure, throughout this 12 years, I have had 1,500, 2,000 there. But every now and then, based on what I publish that people may not like, they say, I'm going to take my money away. Please take it and hasta la vista, baby. Thank you for the month that you gave. But you are not going to pressure me. Those people, I'm talking about those people, because 99.9% of my community members are wonderful. I appreciate them, but don't ever do that, because I had to actually block one from Patreon, which is, it's like pathetic, really, for the person sending so many messages, Thomas somebody, and then threatening to sue me for his $1 because I haven't responded, and also saying, based on what I expected, you were supposed to provide us at Patreon every day with a podcast. Where is my podcast today? Wow. Anyhow, it's a good thing I'm not in any position of presidency or anything, because I don't have any tolerance for people like this. I am not known to have tolerance. I do not tolerate these people. I don't expect other people to tolerate these people. I don't tolerate people posting rude comments to each other and engaging in foul language, explicit language, because of somebody's opinion. Maybe that opinion was not stated nicely. I don't care what the reason is, but in my community, my communities, thou shalt respect each other, okay? You respect differences of opinion. You can engage in some constructive, civilized, with love and kindness comments. But don't you dare coming, anybody, I don't care whether you're giving $5,000, I don't have any, or 100 or $1 or a penny, okay? You don't call any of my other members, community members, horrible names and bash them. I have seen a couple of things. I'm going to get rid of them. I don't have the time. Once we get to a certain point with this Patreon community and Newsbud, I would like to hire someone to assist me both with video recording, editing, but also to organize some of these things, including live events, etc. We are far from it right now. Hopefully we will get to this point, but respect each other. Okay, that's one of the things this community is supposed to be so different than the other ones. No matter of the differences of ideology, opinion, etc., we express it with respect. It's okay to be sarcastic, okay? It's okay to be snappy, but don't call any of my members, any of you, names and use foul language. I do not allow that. And I haven't put anything on this Patreon saying people over 18s can come here. We may have a 15-year-old going through their mother's account. I don't want that kind of stuff, okay? Don't do that. Take a deep breath. Control your anger, control your language. We are about values, we are about decency, we are about politeness, okay? And this is coming from someone who's not very tolerant, okay? Sometimes I am grinding my teeth trying to be patient with some people, but that's okay, that's what we should do. I have to do it with my child who's now entering the teenage years. Deep breath, okay? And then let that temper go, be kind. Be nice, be loving. We can have our differences, yet be united, okay? Respect and love each other. With that, I'll see you soon. I have other things I would like to talk about. Please encourage others to join this community. Please spread the word, okay? I count on all of you, and I love you all. This is Sibel Edmonds, and I'll be with you soon.